This is my creating project, Edpuzzle and art class. I'm using Screencast-O-Matic to record, and I've used Google Slides to create my presentation. The technology I decided on was Edpuzzle. I'd heard about it before, but hadn't really investigated too much until a classmate posted about it in a discussion board. So it was then that I decided to look farther into it, and it turns out it could be a great supplement to my art lessons. What Edpuzzle allows you to do is select a video, and you can add checkpoint questions or you can add voiceovers in order to draw students' attention to important information. This could be from YouTube or they could be personally created videos. The website actually gives you a list of suggestions, and later I'll show you those. The part would be that you're checking to see that your students are paying attention, that they understand, and that they're staying active in their learning. Rationale for the lessons. Art class comes with a lot of steps and directions to follow. The purpose of each Edpuzzle is to help support the comprehension of important key information in each lesson. Each Edpuzzle will help students to be drawn to and reflect on the information presented to them by answering questions while listening. Do note that the videos and the lessons have been previously used, but now they include the enhancement and support of Edpuzzle. These are the teacher prior skills and knowledge. It's important that the teacher has experience with one-to-one Chromebooks and actually even Google products in general. Google Classroom, using Edpuzzle, knowing artistic techniques, being able to demonstrate them and talk about different artists and art styles, and then the beast of teaching technology in art class. Lesson 1. It's a focus on pop word art. There's a picture to the right, so you could see kind of the outcome. This is for 5th grade, and here's a short description. Students are going to create Liechtenstein-inspired pop art with onomatopoeia words. They start by viewing the Edpuzzle about pop art and pop artists. They're going to refresh their understanding of onomatopoeia words, which will most likely be learned with their classroom teacher, but if not, we will talk about that and look at some examples. Then students will look at videos on how to make bubble letters. I have created one, but I will also allow them to further research on their own because there's lots out there. And then I'll give them a live demonstration of ways that they can use different dotting techniques and line techniques, and then allow them some time to start creating their own sketches for their final project. And then they're going to complete their final projects that reflect this pop art style, and lastly, assemble them appropriately. This lesson will last approximately 3 to 4 40-minute classes. This is the Edpuzzle that I created for them to learn about pop art.
Hi, I'm Ellie, and these are 4 of my favourite things. Bananas, my red coat, tomato soup, and comic books. But what do they all have in common? Two little words, pop and art.
See if you can spot all 4 of these items throughout the video.
Pop art is more than an art movement. It's a lifestyle, a craze, a way of looking at the world. But what is pop art? Pop is young, bold, and fun. This is life in the 40s. It's a bit grey. In the 50s, people who wanted plastic and glamour. They wanted to have a good time. Buy more, spend more. Don't just watch TV, be on TV. Now you can listen to the Beatles and Elvis, watch cartoons, eat popcorn, drive cars.
It's just a sample of the Edpuzzle that I created for this lesson 1. If you notice, when you come to the question marks, there'll be a question that pops up over here on the side. And then the yellow is my recorded voice, asking for students to pay attention to some certain kind of information. This is only a very small portion of my lesson, but I think that due to the amount of information in this, it's a good place to use Edpuzzle, because due to all the information, it keeps them involved and it keeps them actively listening. It's not like a step-by-step tutorial of drawing or something where they're actually physically involved. In this case, using Edpuzzle creates that and gives that advantage. My lesson 2 is T-bow cupcakes, created by 2nd graders. The description: students will be creating Wayne T-bow inspired cupcakes. We start out first by looking at some slides to compare T-bow's work to other styles by which he was influenced. So we'll take a quick peek at those slides. Sorry about the load time. All right. So due to it being for 2nd grade, I'm very minimal with words, but we do a lot of looking at the pictures and comparing. So here's some pop art, and we talk about what pop art is. And conveniently, it's also pop art that I focus on the first lesson. So we look at a couple different styles, and then we look at T-bow's work, and we just kind of compare where we see both styles. And finally, we get to his dessert, so they can see where their cupcakes come from. But ours are way cooler, I always say, because we get to use so much more variety of color. Anyway, back to here. Next, we're going to view the Edpuzzle. And this Edpuzzle is going to be around appropriate paintbrush care, because as you can hopefully see in the picture over here, there's a lot of painting involved. And this video actually would be useful in other projects as well, especially the ones with extra painting, because even though we come every week, we don't always remember the correct way. So we're doing a lot of painting in the background and even on the cupcakes as well in a different sheet of paper. So after viewing the Edpuzzle, they will paint their backgrounds and then draw and paint cupcakes, and then finally assemble the project. This lesson is probably going to last about 3 to 4 40-minute classes as well. This is my lesson 2 Edpuzzle. This one's nice and short, so I'll play it all the way through. Then you can see the questions and hear my voiceovers in some areas. This is just a quick tip on cleaning your brushes. So usually when we come back here, we have icky brushes and icky water. So first start by notice how I carefully dump my bucket close to the sink, and I do not turn the water on full blast. Dump in your water, and then you can swirl the paintbrushes in your hand. Swirl the brushes gently in the palm of your hand underneath the running water. And to get the paint off, instead of just holding them here like this, which takes forever, just swirl them in your hands, kind of like that, so you see that they're pretty clean. True or false? Gently rotating the brushes in the palm of your hand saves time and works much better than just holding them under the running water. So if I click true, you can see that nothing shows up. But if I click false, sometimes an answer shows up. I guess this time it's not going to. But the answer is true. There we go, it's right there. And then we click continue. Check them out, they look pretty good. Make sure you also check the handles of the brushes. Then I'm going to swirl some clean water in my bucket, use my hand to get out any extra paint, and just fill it a little ways. Only fill your bucket about halfway. That way we can prevent some spills. Let the brushes brush up. Check that there's 4 of each kind, and you're good to go. And our question says, how should the brushes be stored? It does not matter as long as they're clean or brush up. So brush up. Noticed I thoroughly cleaned 8 brushes in less than a minute. Due to our sink room becoming very crowded, please quickly and efficiently clean your brushes so the next person may use that sink space. Once again, this is just one of the steps of the many, many steps within the lesson. But one of the steps that it's important that students review and think about the information that is shared. It's possible for me to use this in other portions or other steps of the lesson, and actually that is a future goal of mine. But for now, this is a good start and a great way to show off my creating project. Conclusion, and then I will finally wrap up with a short briefing of Edpuzzle. You've probably noticed, Edpuzzle is very versatile and can be used with nearly any subject area content. And if a YouTube video doesn't exist that meets the teacher's needs already, one can easily be created and then modified to gauge student understanding with Edpuzzle. Blur the site just a little bit so you can see what's behind the creating. As you can see, you can log in or you can sign up, and when you log in, it gives you some options here as a student or as a teacher. You can use a Google account, which I have done, or you can use other kinds of accounts. These you can link up with classrooms, which is really, really nice and convenient. And I'm using my school email actually because I have classes linked to my Google Classroom with this. See, this is kind of the shell of your workspace right here. Right now we're under my classes, and I've just created this right here because I added one of my classes. It has last year's date on it, but I added it from my Google Classroom. As you can see, you can do right here. Super convenient, very nice to have. As you can see now, we're under Gradebook, which I have not actually used this with students yet, so there isn't anything here, but I'm sure it's where you can find your students' progress, and I look forward to experimenting with this school year. Under Content, that is where the videos that you have already edited or ones that you have selected that you want to edit, that is where they're going to appear. So you can add content here. Right here are some channels that you can choose from. So I'm sure that you can add your own personally created. It does give you that option when you click on add content. So you can upload your own, things like that. So, or you can create your own. So if we go to upload, let's see what happens. Right here it says choose a file, which I don't have anything to put on here right now. Or you can go to YouTube and you can search whatever channel to find your stuff that you're looking for. So I'll just go to my YouTube channel because it's easier that way. And then if you select a video, click edit. And like it says, it gives you these options. And if you look up here, this is where you can do voiceovers. This is where you can do the notes I did. The voiceover I discovered, it has to be over the entire video. It does make a note of that too somewhere. And then quizzes are those questions that I added. So it gives you lots of redos, which is really nice. Doesn't look like my video wants to load with this right now. But hopefully this gives you an idea. And then when you're done, you can save it or you can finish it, and it's going to end up in your content area as well. So if I click finish, it shows up in my content so I can refer to it. I can edit it easily. And I think you can even share it easily too. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how this works. It's very straightforward. Really didn't take me too long to figure it out. It's the inner workings with the students that I still have to figure out. So if you check this out, I do recommend it. I think it's pretty neat technology here. So enjoy. Thanks for listening.